And we've said on this podcast before that Holloway has visions of going up to middleweight before his career is said and done. He fancies himself a Kenny Florian. But no, for Max, right, he's not going to make featherweight or choose to very many more times. Yeah. This Ortega fight, I think win or lose, you heard it a little bit there from Tyler, this could be the last time you see Max Holloway as a featherweight. I know it would be bizarre for some to see with this long winning streak, him to make that move at this time. He's obviously still a very young man, but the future for him is at lightweight and probably eventually welterweight before he hangs him up for good,
Yeah, I mean, Tyler Minton, kind of breaking news there, I think, in a way, because, I mean, who else does he need to fight? I know he has mentioned, the fact that he has a lot of respect for Frankie Edgar, that he would fight Frankie maybe, and that's pretty much it. Frankie, obviously a legendary fighter himself, so maybe he takes that fight. But as far as, all the big fights, I mean, it's all at 55, right? You got Khabib Nurmagomedov, you got Conor McGregor. Obviously, he has a history, or kind of a history, with both of those men. I think that's a fight that makes a lot of sense. Last time he was up at Fox, man, he was huge. I remember seeing him when he was like a 20, 21-year-old kid, and I said, how the hell does he make 145 pounds? That was a few years ago. So now, it's got to be very difficult for that guy to make weight now at 145. And after you clear out a division, I think, the writing's on the wall for Max Holloway.
And he's a guy who gets ahead of the cut, right? I mean, Tyler Minton has been entrenched with
Max
him
is a
for
pro,
several
man.
weeks.
Yeah.
Monitoring everything that he ingests and everything else. But, Max is a pro, and, one way or another, come Friday, July 6th, he'll land right on 145 pounds. But nothing easy about the 6 or 8 or 10-week process for the current UFC featherweight champion. A number of different directions I want to go with you, but I want to read you some quotes from Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, courtesy BJPenn.com, in terms of Darren Till's targeting Thompson's lead knee with these side kicks. I'm going to read the quote quickly because I want you to hear all of it, okay? This is from Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I honestly think that strike should be made illegal. It could end somebody's career. Robert Whittaker had to have ACL surgery following his first fight with Yoel Romero due to that particular strike. As you could see, Whittaker made sure to beat Romero to the punch in their second fight. He threw a lot more than he did this time around. It is just a very dangerous technique. I think a lot of fighters throw that strike, but sometimes it is for different reasons. When I fought Jorge Masvidal, he used that same side kick to the knee, but when George threw it, he was doing so just to keep me away, not in an attempt to injure my knee. And here's the rub. When I was in the cage fighting Till, it felt like, okay, this guy is trying to break my leg. It was like he had intentions of ripping everything out in my knee. That's how I felt anyway, like this dude is really trying to injure me in here. I think it's an ugly strike and that it should be made illegal. Now, I think a lot of people fall on the other side of this equation, right? This is two men fighting in a cage. This is a kick to a lower limb, and they don't see an issue with it. Where do you fall on it?
Man, I got to tell you, we're in a sport where, you could easily say, man, this guy was punching me in the head like he really wanted to knock me out.
Right,
you know what I mean? So, I'm not,
yeah.
It is what it is. They could do whatever they want with it, but for right now, everybody's looking for an edge, and if that's what you have to do to keep somebody away, I'm not going to agree with them on that totally, but, I could see if it, it's almost like, I don't know. Again, we're in the sport. You know what you signed up for. There's nothing good about a guy crashing his shin into your temple, into the side of your leg, your ribs. Right. It's just is what it is, man. So, you give Wonderboy enough time and he'll figure out that leg won't even be there the next time he side kicks, I guarantee you. So He might be expressing himself in one way, but again, it is what it is. And he's so gifted that he could do so many things that, I think, guys have to survive in there too. Wonderboy's, he's a handful for anybody. So because he's got great flexibility and he can kick you in the head, you could say, look, this guy's trying to kick me in the temple, render me unconscious with the heel of his foot, and it'll never end. So I'm saying for right now, it is what it is, man. It's a tough sport. You know what you sign up for, and train appropriately. And again, I think that's something that Wonderboy will figure out in the future very easily.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. We saw Whittaker and the adjustments he made against Romero in the second fight. He actually was attacking Romero's fight with the exact same kick. It seemed like he was looking for revenge there.
Oh no,
it's tough.
That right? had the feeling. That had the feeling of revenge too.
Yes, he was. And that's the tough thing. I mean, the other thing is you can do a knee bar in the UFC. You could try to rip someone's knee open that way. So,
Kenny, there's nothing that happens in that octagon that you can't make the case for. I mean, I don't know, man. I might take the knee kick over, getting hit with a shin to my temple.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
Right.
I mean, that's where it gets tricky. I mean, there's nothing, as far as health and safety, there's nothing good going on in there. There's nothing.
Right.
There's nothing good going on. It's a fight, man. And, you make the commitment to walk in there, you got to be prepared to do whatever.
Well, I want to continue the talk on health and safety, Ray. We were talking earlier about the weigh-ins. Where do you fall in the conversation as far as, do you prefer the early weigh-ins for the fighters, or do you like the later weigh-ins? What do you think is better for your guys?
Well, I mean, I can tell you, me personally, I don't like the early weigh-ins because I don't like getting up there early.
Yes, this is true. This is true.
So it's an easy one for me. I like to weigh them in about 9 o'clock at night. But
yeah.
But no, look, that's a question you ask the fighters. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Look, the key with everything is these guys, they have to start making weight when they get the call 8 weeks out. They won't have a problem if you're disciplined, if you're into health yourself, if you're into health and safety. Forget about leaving it to the commissions at this point. Leave it to yourself. That's the only thing I could say now. Do the right thing. I guarantee it won't be an issue. And if it's an issue, you have to move up in weight. But if you're doing the right thing, you start at the right time. Again, it's not like, the last week you cram everything in. You should be doing this weight cut 8 weeks out, eating right. You're working out the right way. That weight will definitely come off. There's enough science to base that on. I mean, there's so many great ways of, losing weight at this point and staying healthy. Look, no matter what time you have it, there's always going to be those guys that don't make weight. So I think for the most part, everybody liked the early weigh-ins because they could rehigh. You get that extra 8 hours. That's huge, So for the safety of the fighter, that seems to be the way to go. Get them rehydrated, get that water back up to the brain, less shock on this, less that.
Yeah.
All good. So, I'm in favor of whatever's safer for the fighter. You'd really have to look at the research and see what it says. But again, we're in a sport where you can't fry your internal organs over and over again like that. The guy losing 40 pounds over, it's just like
crazy.
Is there anybody that's going to tell him that's good for him? No, the answer is no. But with any sport, with anything you do in life, there comes, a risk-reward ratio, and that's up to the fighter. As long as you educate everybody and let everybody know what the upside is and the downside, they make the decision. And the athletic commission is just there to enforce the rules and to, make sure that they do everything right for the safety of the fighter, and that's it. But I'm going to say the early weigh-ins seem to be good for the fighter.
And, a lot of people look at that Darren Till video and are freaking out. And obviously we've said here, you're lucky you didn't see the video of Kenny Florian cutting to featherweight because it made that Darren Till video look like Christmas, honestly.
Let me tell you something. I tell the story, and it's a true story. The guy couldn't even speak. I was sitting next to him. And his team left him. His team actually left him. I think Chainberg went out to get a hamburger. He was with me and Weidman. It was like a scene out of The Godfather.
They were exhausted. Let's put it that way. The coaches cutting weight with me were exhausted.
I got to tell you, John, it was like a scene out of The Godfather when they left the old man in the fucking hospital. I mean, I felt like Enzo the Baker. I had to come save the poor guy.
They had you put your hands in your pockets just in case, like you had a gun in there. Yeah,
and he had that poor accountant go, okay, you got to file that 419, you got taxes and cash.
Ray came to my rescue there. That was awesome.
I swear to God, John, it's a true story. Hey, buddy, how about take a fucking hike? The guy can't even speak.